I'm gonna change my name to my actual name, not my website. Here we go.
Hey, welcome everyone. We have Barry Jenkins here with our Real Estate Junkies podcast. And, Barry here, actually, I've been following Barry for, I would say about 3 years now
Oh, wow.
on your approach to how you coach doing real estate. And, top 1% in your field over less, 18 years, or is it more?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been in the business 20 something. I would say the last 11 years, top 1%. Yeah, last 11 years.
Wow, that's great. That makes sense why I follow you. I didn't know it was actually 18 years. I just looked it up like yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you got a lot of awards, especially in the Virginia area. You got you've been recognized by a lot of people, as your top 5, top 3, top 1 in the company. Very impressive. And you're a resident realtor at Ylopo. I've been, Ylopo is actually one of the main reasons I started following you. I followed Ylopo first, and that's how I kind of got around you and all your approaches till this day. Like every morning I kind of talk about your approach all the time. Like I've been following the way your conversation, the first conversation that you have, you talk about properties, you talk about engaging, you try to engage the person into the conversation rather in the first 3 seconds, like try to find out, are they interested? Do they want to see a house?
Right.
And I'm coming from the Zillow side. So I've been not taught, it's just like it's programmed to first talk about a specific property to get them scheduled to see a house, right? So once I started getting into more Facebook marketing, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It was not working for me at all.
Right.
So I had to find you for sure.
Well, I'm honored.
And an author now.
Yes.
You've been coaching with Ylopo for a while, but I see your book finally came out, published. I'm actually going to buy it on Audible. Is it on Audible yet?
It is. Yeah, it's on Audible. Yeah.
I'm getting it right now, actually. It's called Too Nice to Sell.
Too nice for sales.
For sales. Okay. Too nice.
Yeah.
For sales.
Yep. Back in 2010, I was told that I was too nice for sales, which honestly, they were right.
You're not gonna cut it.
Yeah, like they were right. Like I was too nice, and that's actually the whole premise of the book. Is I figured out how to stay true to who I was, and find a way to actually crush it in this industry, and that's pretty much the book, And as I say in the book, I was a solid D student. Like if any of my teachers find out I ended up writing a book, they're gonna go, he paid somebody, which I didn't. I actually wrote the book. And so it's in my language. I use my words, but the Audible was an interesting experience. Amazon, they've done a great job. You go on there, you either read it yourself, which I didn't have time to do, or you pay someone to read it. And, I got probably 30 people reading a paragraph of the book, and they just pick one out. And that's who read the book. Just this guy that I found through the Audible platform.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I don't have a book yet, so I don't know what am I going to do with the information, but I'll definitely serve it somewhere.
I'm sure you will one day.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely coming. But tell us, like, how did you, with that approach, there is a lot of people out there. I coach agents, I started my team back in 2021, and year and a half now coaching agents. I do come across people like you, right? And I was actually a nice person. I'm an introverted, not anymore. Sales kind of like converted me to like a intro extroverted person. So like, how'd you get into real estate? Like, it's a lot of experience, right? And how did you survive through all of that, right? What have you been doing? What type of business have you ran? Tell us about all that.
So currently, I run the number 1 team in my state. I'm neck and neck. We do between 800 and 900 sales a year, right? 20 years ago, my first year in the industry, I didn't sell a house my first year. And then for 10 years, I was at a little indie brokerage that I wasn't connected to the real estate industry in any way. And I just kind of meandered my way through. Well, when the market crashed in 2008, it changed everything I lost everything. And I talk about it in the book. We racked up like $60,000 in credit card debt in 1 year, just trying to buy groceries and stuff. And that changed me. And so I had to go get sales jobs, right? Like selling not real estate. I liked being able to pay my bills. So while I wasn't making money trying to sell houses, I got a job with insurance. And then I got another job selling steel buildings over the phone. Those side hustles and the lessons I learned over those 3 years, that's the book. All those stories. And because, look, you called me once, you're going to buy a $50,000 building over the phone. That's tough, like that's really tough. And the way that I was taught to do it was to create a false reality, lie, cheat. And so I had this crisis moment where that's not who I want to be, but it's working. And
making money.
Right. So then when I got another shot to go back full time without any side hustles in 2011, I hit it. I went after it. I took everything that I learned and I sold 125
in market too.
Oh, I know. And Zillow, it was like the crescendo. But I sold 125 houses that year and I was miserable because now I went from not having anything to having so much sales wise that the other areas of my life weren't balanced. And so that's what started me to build a team back in 2012. And everybody told me not to. They did. I mean, at that point, I went to a conference for the brokerage I'm a part of. And they're like, yeah, I tried that. Don't do it. It's horrible. And I just did it anyway because
there were top producers telling you.
Oh yeah, they were like the upper crust.
They were at the comfort zone. Okay,
right.
Always tell you don't do a team because they're comfortable. They're making money, but it is miserable for sure.
Yeah,
I got there money like 10 years after you, but
right. So yeah, that's the cool thing about this is for those of you that are watching, you might be in a period of life where it's challenging and it's hard. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to go back through the last 20 years or whatever, but I'm really grateful for those hard times because through those, it's what catapulted me in my current career and, an author now. It's the tough stuff. So don't give up.
Sure. So that makes me ask you, so let's just say if you were like, we rewinded back in time and you were dropped back in time with all the knowledge that you have and you have to start over. What would you do? What are the specific things would you do and implement the systems? I know we don't have a lot of time, but like must-haves.
Are we talking go back to the beginning, 2001 or 2011?
2011. One would be even better.
I think 11. Well, okay, whatever. All right, so I'll do both. 2001, I would collect everybody that I knew in a notebook of some kind. I think I had a really dope Palm Pilot in 2001, so I probably would have put it back and put it in there. So I would have put all the names in there. And then I would have consistently provided value to those 50 to 100 people every month. Sometimes value is a flower. Other times value is tips on buying the home. I wouldn't choose what's valuable and like stay in this one vein and I would stay in front of them and I wouldn't even talk about real estate that much. And then I would do a really good job. And then when I would sell them a home, I would tell all their neighbors and I would hold a housewarming party for my new client and bring all the neighbors over and I would host it. That's 2001. 2011, digital marketing. I would have mastered my CRM and I would have figured out how to master Google Ads, Google LSA, all of it, Google My Business, all of it. And I just would have stuck with Google, actually, is what I wish I would have done.
Wow. That's a lot of information. That's a lot. Oh, man. But like, I know you guys are you utilizing Google through Ylopo, or are you guys independently using it?
No, I mean, look, part of my gig at Ylopo is I help them make the stuff, right? So I come up with ideas and all that stuff. So what I do is now it's a product team. It's not just me and G anymore. The product team comes up with something and then they test it on Gabe Cordova and I. Gabe's another one of the realtors in residence. And so I'm using all their stuff for Google, but it's constantly changing. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what do you see? I guess we can talk about technology, but the market, the industry, where are we going with this? Like you see this craziness right now. How long do you think would that last? And what would be the next shift?
I think until more people are motivated to move for whatever reason, we can theorize and all that. I think we're going to be in this type of market for a while. I think if mortgage rates do go up and there's a leveling off of buyer activity. I think that could balance the inventory out a little bit. But right now, we just don't have enough people selling their house. That's really the problem. Like, we just can't, like, it's not even, oh, there's more buyers than sellers. That's true. But when you look at the sheer number of sellers, it's significantly down. And I know for me, I was looking at buying a house. Right. But I had an addition on the back. And I think a lot of people did that. They were like, you know what? I'm here for a year anyway. Let me just invest in where I'm at. And so, I hope it changes tomorrow. But I decided a long time ago, through 2008. In 2008, I waited for everything to go back to the way it was, and that's why I starved for a year, because I'm waiting for the market to come back. And I was I should have. Anyway, so then when COVID hit and everybody's freaking out. Wait. COVID hit in 2020, 2021, quarantine and all that. I told my team, I said, this is what I did back in 2008. I'm not going to do it this time. If there's only 100 people that are going to buy a home in our area in the next few months,
us.
Yeah, exactly. And it worked. We crushed it. And so that's, so I don't have a crystal ball, but I know what's going to happen regardless of what's going on.
Yes. And a lot of people miss that. And like, whenever something comes up, right? Regular people, okay, it only takes like a bad news on the news going on for them to become like stagnant and like hopeless and like, oh, I don't know what to do next. Right. It's always about having that vision. And imagine if you had this vision like today, where you are back in 2001. Of course, there were a lot of missing pieces, but having this vision ahead of time, being able to accomplish it, you figure out the how, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we always see realtors, because they don't have the technology, they're behind, they don't have like social media ability, right? Being able to get on video, they just stay stagnant in that place. Like, oh, industry's just too ahead now. Like, all these agents, they're coming up with new ways. I just can't. So what would you tell those agents?
I think everybody can make that decision at some point in their career. But at that moment, you got to understand you've chosen a victim mindset. And that is a decision. It's your decision to make. But, you can actually see the opportunity in every circumstance you're in. And actually, I think there's 2 chapters devoted to this exact topic in my book, because I watch it. What we believe is what we tend to see. Let me give you an example. If you're hanging out with a bunch of people that say the market's horrible, nobody wants to buy, and you talk to a lead and the lead says, I'm not really that interested, what are you going to do? It's this freaking market. I'll never talk to anybody that wants to buy a home. Okay, listen, I'll send you an email. We'll talk soon. Okay. All right. Me, on the other hand, right? I get that. I'm not ready to buy. I'm going to say, oh man, I'm so glad you're planning ahead. You sound super smart. So listen, I'm curious, whenever you decide to move, what are you hoping to change about where you live? Right? Same impetus, same market, completely different responses. And so y'all got to get your mind straight, seriously, because if not, you're just going to just like slowly decrease. And that's a decision. You're not a victim. You're not. You just get to make a decision to do whatever it is you want to do. That's what I'd say.
So people just choose to be victims, and they could just work on a more positive approach with getting results and put belief first rather than like disappointment, right?
Yeah. And I do think though that does, like, you need to be around people that see life that way. Misery loves company. We say that because that's actually what happens. We all get to complaining, we stick in the corner, and then we all kind of have the same outcomes. And the question I would ask you is, how's that working out for you? Because I know for me, it's working out great being positive and being around positive people, and so just analyze it and just you get to wake up. And that's the cool thing about being your own business owner. You get to do whatever you want. Right. Yeah. And so just press 2.0 and let's go.
For sure. And with everything, that's a lot of things are changing, right? And then people don't even know what's coming up next. It's so fast. It's just coming and passing us, and then next new thing comes and then keeps going. What do you see for the industry as far as technology goes? How does technology impact the future of the real estate industry?
Well, 2 things. One, entertainment. What we as a society, how we enjoy digital media. As that continues to adapt, so does where the advertising dollars go, right? So 4 years ago, I wouldn't have spent money on TikTok. I still won't, but like now it's actually like a very large, very successful company. And so now there's eyeballs there, and you have to make a decision as a business owner. Are those the eyeballs I want to advertise to? Facebook is still a powerhouse. And so I'm saying that because entertainment is dictating where the focus is. And so as that adjusts, so will marketing and where the marketing dollars are spent. But people, as a general rule, do not enjoy being homeless. So I see a continued desire to put a roof over your head. Yeah. And so as a digital marketer, all you got to do is talk to the right person at the right time with the right message. And if you can keep houses in front of them through whatever technology you're using to run ads, anytime they start shopping, you get notified, you're instantly relevant to them. And so I think if agents start to look at digital marketing that way, and stop getting focused on like new leads, for example, it's very empowering because they can control their own destiny at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we are probably over the next 3 years are going to have massive upgrades on technology, right? We're on the verge of AI. We already have AI, right? At some level, but that's going to expand much more, right? Like to keep our businesses, for teams, be able to compete with Zillow. I don't know if you guys are you guys on as a Flex partner? Do you guys do Zillow?
I'm not, and I don't hate Zillow, but we're not. Yeah, some people are really passionate about it. We're not as a Flex partner, but yeah.
Yeah. So how come you're not on Zillow, and are you not worried about competing with Zillow?
I think anybody who's not worried about the industry competing with Zillow is not paying attention. There wasn't, for whatever reason, my market is still a very profitable market to sell leads for Zillow. And so I think we'll be one of the last ones where Flex becomes like the main thing. Right now, it's just kind of a small subset within our market. Yeah. And we weren't spending a lot on Zillow, so we weren't the first person. And appropriately so. Yeah, it's appropriate. Look, am I worried that Zillow is going to end my business or my team? I'm not. I think in the way the world is right now, people really value that human interaction, that human experience.
Yes.
Partially because we went like a year and a half or 2 years where we didn't have as much. And so with this being the largest purchase of their life, with this being very scary because of the permanency involved with putting your feet down somewhere, I think having a human involved that is able to interpret all the data, give direction, be a sounding board, I think there's always going to be a place for that. It'll look a lot different. There won't be as many of us, but I still think that there will be a place for us.
For sure. And you said, am I worried Zillow's going to take my business? No. Right. What are you doing to kind of make sure that you're in front of your database more and more, so they're not, as long as you can maintain that human connection? I don't think your sphere, it does happen though. It happens a lot that your sphere is on Zillow, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys do as far as maintaining relationship? You already mentioned some of it, right? Like once you have a closing with someone, you maintain that monthly add value, right? What else, like what type of system would someone like us, working in a team structure where we have agents who have relationship, right?
Yeah.
What type of system should we put in place to make sure that we have something in place where we are not as worried as you?
Yeah. So look, by the time the consumer gets to Zillow, they've picked out what they want. And so everything about your relationship with this lead is surrounded around them having an idea of what they want. I've decided that market and the number of people that are at that place where they know what they want, it's very small. And so I've taken the majority, almost all of my marketing dollars, to focus on the segment just before those people. These are the people that are starting to figure it out. They could actually type a phrase in Google like homes for sale in XYZ city. And I've actually learned how to obsessively just focus on that group. We call it middle of funnel, right? Top of funnel.
Yeah.
That's my book, man. It's literally all about talking to people that don't know what they want yet. And so I don't have the same competition that all the Zillow agents have because I'm catching them before. And really it comes down to being an aggressive teacher. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know they don't need me, or they think they don't need me. I've got to show them how valuable I am. So the way we do that is we buy Google, leads from Google.
Mhm.
And then we use dynamic remarketing. Dynamic remarketing was invented in 2016. Think a shoe store like Nike. Facebook said, "Hey Nike, give us a catalog of your shoes." When someone goes on your Nike website and looks at a size 9 black pair of sneakers, I'm going to take those and find a few others in your catalog, push them in front of the consumer so they keep shopping. Well, Ylopo actually said that's a killer concept. And Ylopo, it was the first entity to connect the MLS catalog. We create a catalog and upload it. And so now, as the consumer shopping on your website, they're on the east side for 500,000, then they go to the west side of town for $1 million. The ads dynamically adjust every morning. Okay, so that's how I stay in front of the consumer. Is they're always shopping. They're not on Zillow. Well, they're on Zillow, but they're also on my website. I'm a runner. I'm a part of the conversation.
So they're also engaging with your database, meaning your ability to watch what they're doing, their behavior, just like they are also in front of Zillow, showing Zillow what they're liking. So basically having your own Zillow, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's all about that IDX website that they can enjoy shopping. The National Association of Realtors did a poll amongst buyers in, I think it was 2 years ago. Overwhelmingly, all buyers that closed that year said they just want more pictures. That was what the summation of the digital marketing experience. Just show me more pictures. And so if you can have an IDX website that's putting that in front of them, they're going to stay on your website. And so I built my database from 2016 to 2021. I went from 6,000 leads to now I've got 149,000, 150,000. I'm remarketing to all of them. And now I just do these batch, like, I go into Follow Up Boss and I'm like, show me everybody that's looked at this many homes in this zip code and they've saved this many homes. And I just get this massive batch of people. And then I just target market to them on that specific scenario. Yeah. And so now I've got a machine. And so that's what they should be focused on.
Wow. And you seem like you guys are very deep in Follow Up Boss. Any Follow Up Boss questions I have, I always DM you. So I get good answers. You always give me like the exact, like you don't like, oh, I never did that. Like you're the exact response. So it tells me that you guys are deep down in your CRM. Now, tell me what would happen to people in the next 5 years or 10 years, people who don't leverage technology and they're in real estate sales or any sales?
I think those people, if they're not leveraging technology, they've got a lot of really great relationships. And candidly, they're probably going to be just fine. Where they have to think is when they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Do they want to have something that they can sell, or do they want to have something that they can make residual income off of long term? I think most people would say yes to that. And so while I don't think they need to be working digital marketing and figuring out how to convert leads, if they're doing, their top 1% and they're selling to their friends and family, but if there's an exit strategy in any capacity, they're doing it wrong.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. That's good to know for sure. And a lot of we have a lot of agents getting licensed, right? We have a lot of agents like just coming in, and we do have probably maybe like once this market shifts, we will have a good number of experienced agents probably retired. They wouldn't want to work the upswings, right? So what would you say agents coming in, right, fresh, brand new, to ride this wave, right? Let's just say, or even like when the shift happens, we will have a lot of new agents now will get out of the industry, right? You have been there, right? You went through the whole downswing and upswing, right? Like what should they be doing, right? Like the whole approach thing that you changed your approach. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say join a team and make sure the team dynamic is not employer employee, right? Like you're not going to like work for someone. That you're an environment of people that want to be entrepreneurs in some capacity. Yes, there's a team leader. Yes, there's someone that owns the team, but he's so focused on empowering you, or she is so focused on empowering you that you can, build your own dreams. That's what I would tell them to do.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very good. That's what I usually advise like independent agents who are struggling. Like go find someone who would be good fit for you, and they're empowering you. They're not just leveraging you to kind of like have a side income.
Right. Well, I tell people when I interview them, I'm like, look, if you want me to tell you what to do, I'm not the right team for you. I'm not. I'm going to set some really clear structure around your day and based on what you want to do and get your goals. But I'm not going to like call you and say, did you go to work today? If you're not, if you need that, go somewhere else. Because I've been forced to that because of my gig at Ylopo. So I can, but I'm going to stay that way even after I'm done with Ylopo because I think it creates an environment of leaders, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's the type of people that I want to work with.
Definitely. And we are almost out of time here, but let's say I always like to ask people this: where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like real estate industry or not, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
So I'm excited when I think 10 years from now. So I have three of my own children, and then we took on a foster child when she was 3 weeks old. She was born on methamphetamines, and so now she's 5 months. So we have four. There'll be 10. I think we're going to be that family where we like travel places and like, but not like vacation. I mean, like we're like, let's go live in this country for a month, and I'll still be doing all this stuff with you guys digitally. And I already have another book that I'm working on. So yeah, lots of travel, lots of family, lots of this stuff.
Half hippie, half family, half
Yes,
pet master.
yes, absolutely.
I love the drive, man. Like the freedom and at the same time contribution and family connection.
Yeah.
That's great. And
Well,
thing, yeah, go ahead.
I want my business to serve me.
Yes.
I don't want to be a slave to my business.
Yeah.
And so my business has grown to the point that I can take my family, bring in a stranger, and use my family to help. Like that to me, it's the most difficult thing I've ever done, but it's also without a doubt the most rewarding that I've ever done. So that's where my heart's going. And so I can see I'll figure out a way to do it all. It'll be family focused.
So being able to adjust to another human being in that family structure. Wow. That's hard.
Yeah, it's
hard.
No, it's
hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Thank you. Yeah. I get that a lot. Either that or I wouldn't be able to do that. I would just cry. Those are the two answers I normally get. Either more power to you or oh gosh, I'd be crying all the time if I did that.
More power to you for sure. I always wanted to, adapt, but
Yeah.
we know the adjustment's gonna be difficult, right? Because of their
Uncomfortable.
background, for sure. And that's what puts me off. But last thing, who would want to read the book? And what problem would your book solve for them?
Anybody that is in the residential real estate industry, without a doubt, other sales industries as well. And nice people think they're being nice by not bothering leads. And so when the lead does this, we're nice. And so we built this like persona that I'm being nice. And so the book is written to those people that are nice and kind of just wrecks that theory and gets them to say, no, I'm really focused on me. I'm worried that they're going to like me. So I'm thinking about me in this moment. I'm scared and I'm nervous. Like me, please be nice to me. And it flips it on its head and says, stop thinking about yourself. This stranger is about to make the largest purchase of their life. They need you to lead the way. And so then what you're doing is you learn how to talk to this stranger. And my team is not made up of a bunch of closers. We're a bunch of nice people that have just learned to care enough to have uncomfortable conversations.
Have an uncomfortable conversation. That is something that a lot of nice people is terrified of.
Yeah. And look, so for example, you're talking to a lead and you say, hey, I was checking to see how, if you want to look at homes. No, I'm just browsing. Okay, I'll email you next month. That's what they do. That's what I can do.
Wasted time. So you really did all the nice people a good favor.
Yeah. And so I'm just of the approach that I haven't decided if you don't need to learn from me yet. I need to talk to you more before I can make that decision. So I know that was a long answer, but yeah, that's the book.
I love it. And it's been a pleasure. Believe it or not, I've been like applying everything you teach. So maybe
wow,
a role play conversation one time, and I can show you how nice I've been.
Yeah. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. You obviously are doing something right.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing your knowledge and adding all the value. And I'm looking forward to work more with you, collaborate with you. So I'll reach out to you definitely.
Okay.